Well, Peter Dutton has come under fire for the purchase of Westpac, NAB and CBA shares he made back in 2008 and 2009 at the height of the global financial crisis. That was just days before the Rudd government's bank bailout. One member of the Labor government is suggesting that he had access to sensitive information and should declare what he knew and how much profit he made. Mr Dutton denies any wrongdoing.
For more, we are joined by Seven's Gemma Acton and journalist Joe Hildebrand. Joe, to you first. Good morning to you both. Given that Dutton is now vying for top office, what does Australia deserve to know?
Well, I think it's almost immaterial. I mean, you know, good on Labor for finding this stuff and bringing it out at a slightly
and the work of a dirt
time.
Unit.
Outrageous! How dare you suggest that? They've been sitting on this,
haven't they? They've been sitting
Absolutely.
on this. Ready to
Are you suggesting that just before an election, the release of this information mysteriously in the public domain to someone in the media has something to do with a nefarious Labor dirt unit that has been holding this information to release it just ahead of an election? How dare you?
Yeah.
Where are my pearls? I need to clutch them. But yes, obviously it's been strategically released. I'm not sure. I've always been a bit sceptical of the whole Get Dutton strategy, which seems to be the primary Labor strategy. I think Labor does have, despite common misconceptions, Labor does have a lot to recommend. It has done some good things in this term of government. But just saying if you vote for Peter Dutton, you'll get the evil devil incarnate himself, I don't think that is working, and I think the fact that Trump just got elected in the US is proof it's not working, and the fact that Peter Dutton is just skyrocketing ahead in the polls is proof it's not working. So I think they'll have to come up with something a bit better if they're going to win the election.
Does he need to declare how much he made, do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, the fact is Peter Dutton also owns half of Australia. He's also got a property portfolio the size of, and Jem will know about this, the size of, you know, Mars. But again, people don't... telling people, oh, this politician's dodgy, people just go, oh, yeah, we know that. We think you're all dodgy.
You just think that that's the baseline that we're working with.
That's right. So I don't think people are going to say, I was going to vote for Peter Dutton, but now that I know that he might have bought some shares ahead of the global financial crisis, you know, 17 years ago...
Yeah.
Well, Jem, what disclosures do you think that he needs to make at this point? Well,
I think you're absolutely right. People are just exhausted by this nitpicking back and forth, and they can do it both ways. I think people just want to see some policies. Yeah, of course, it's not good that there is a housing crisis, and we can see that, of course, Peter Dutton's not the only politician to benefit from these housing policies that advantage people who have multiple homes. But what are you going to do to fix it on both sides, both Labor and the coalition? So, I think that unfortunately it's a tactic that everyone's very sick of.
But they gave the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, crap over his holiday house.
Wrongly. That's right. I mean, the poor guy.
So, that, you know, tit for tat. Like, if you're going to dish it out, you've got to be prepared to take it.
Absolutely. But I think, unfortunately, they came so late when people are already bored of this conversation. You know, people just want to see, what are you going to do for me? How are you actually going to help me? Stop, like, going at each other's throats.
Yes.
It doesn't really move the conversation forward. It's just...
Where's my house?
Well, and like, why didn't you tell me about that so I could have made some money? So, moving on, an Aussie shopper has taken to TikTok to share her disgust at seeing scales in the women's bathroom at a major shopping centre, but not in the men's. Her expletive-laden video has been viewed almost 40,000 times. Gemma, it's been described as outdated, as harmful. Do you agree?
I find it so bizarre. Who on earth thinks, I know what a woman wants when she's rushing to the bathroom with a full bladder when she's out shopping? She definitely wants to weigh herself.
To check in.
With all her clothes on and her shoes on and pay for the privilege. It just seems like the strangest thing. The only way it makes sense is that it is so bizarre that it's made onto national TV. So we are all talking about it. It can't have been particularly expensive for them to have put that machine there, whoever's trying to market it, and now we're talking about it.
Well, Joe, according to data in 2022, approximately 13 million Aussie adults were actually overweight and obese. Would you use the scales in the men's bathroom?
Look, I would not, but I've come across them, believe it or not. Does it sound creepy if I say, I think I know that toilet? No, there is a bathroom in like an old-fashioned shopping centre in the burbs that I often take the kids to, not just to the bathroom, but to the shopping centre. And it's got the scales. And for one thing, who is going to pay money to find out? Like, if you're worried about your weight, chances are you know that you're probably stacking it on a bit.
In the middle of the day with clothes on.
Who is going to pay money to have a scale fat shame you? But this was a scale. So you put your money in. and you stood on the scales, and it gave you your weight, but it also gave you, I think, your horoscope and your lucky lottery tickets.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a nice kind of way.
What if they can do that? I don't know about you.
It's like, hey, here you go. You're a bit fat, but good news, a relative is going to come into wealth.
A fortune cookie.
Fortune cookie.
Where do we stand? That was in a shopping centre.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about seeing them in a hotel room? Do we like that or not? This is I actually put this up on my social media, but I was more disgusted that I hopped on them and I thought of all the people who've been on them before me.
Oh,
like,
all those
because
feet.
when you're all the feet, and then also.
Do you think they're being wiped down?
And also,
No,
this is in a hotel room, but then also, you usually weigh yourself straight out of the shower when you're naked. So I was just thinking, when I hopped on them, I was thinking, yeah. Anyway, it was a nice
That's right.
hotel.
It's just the clothes that are overweight. It's not you.
It's not you. It's not us.
But at least you're not paying. Look, I can't understand paying for your weight. That seems a straight. That seems a straight.
Well, that hotel room.
At least in a hotel room, it's like, okay, yeah.
Well, it was expensive hotel room, so maybe that was like I was getting more bang for my buck.
Instead of $2 to find out your weight, you paid $500 a night.
Did you? What was your horoscope? All right, finally, new research conducted by global software giant Atlassian has found that a messy desk could lead to job loss. 2/3 of the 6,000 people surveyed would be willing to fire a disorganised colleague, with one member of staff saying messy work habits can fuel resentment and hamper productivity. Joe, didn't science prove a messy desk is a sign that you're actually a genius?
My favourite one was if a cluttered desk symbolises a cluttered mind.
Yeah.
What does an empty desk
mind
symbolise? That's right. Didn't everyone say that?
That's what we
all
got.
the cluttered desk people like me would go, oh, that's nice. But I used to have people, when the big boss was in town, I also work at another organisation, when the big boss came to town, I would have people come up with a giant wheelie bin next to my desk and say, right, you get in the desk. And then I would put all the stuff, like all the old newspapers and everything, would have to go in the bin and go out there. And then they sort of kept hanging around, and I realised they wanted me to
in the bin.
Get rid of. That's right. And at one point, they actually said, "Just go to the pub. We'll see you there later, but just be out of the office." Well, so I realised that I was.
You were the issue. Here's some per
mess.
diems. Make yourself scarce.
I was actually the mess they were
Joe.
trying to get rid of.
Does not surprise me. Gemma, a messy desk really reason to give someone the flick?
Joe, I am so glad we're sitting this far apart on the sofa, because once I sat next to someone like you, unsurprisingly, I'm really neat and clean. Who was messy. I found it so distracting all day long.
We even talk neatly.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
When this person left the firm, I had to move into his desk, and I looked in the filing cabinet. There was a banana from another lifetime. There was sports clothes that he'd obviously forgotten to take home. As you can tell, I'm still scarred from this whole experience.
Very scarred.
Poor Gemma looks like she's about to dry rot.
I think we've got David Woywoods here.
My desk?
You haven't been here for very long.
No,
so
my desk
this is not going to be.
It's really quite inspirational, isn't it? Look,
Can I
you can see
say-
that coffee cup full of muesli bar wrappers, and
not
that's
great,
about
but
it.
it's
Can I say yours is devoid of any personality?
I don't even think I have a chair.
So is that meant to be messy?
No, that's clean. I think that's very
They haven't
clean.
even given me a chair yet, though.
Someone took
What's
mine.
up
I
with
reckon they
yours?
might have stitched me up.
Oh, no, that's good.
It's not too bad.
You're doing all right.
You should have seen it, though, December the 19th. It was pretty bad. I cleaned that up for the new year. So that's pretty. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I like to do a bit of New Year's desk cleaning myself.
Yeah.
What a great way to ring in the.
Put it this way,
Ring in 2025.
I'm more in your camp than in Gemma.
We're more fun.
Yeah,
We're more
absolutely.
fun.